Welcome back to Integrated, a podcast for entrepreneurial couples who want to be awesome partners and parents.
Yeah, and have meaningful, fulfilling work as well.
Yeah, balancing it all is tough, and we're here to help.
Yes.
Today we're going to dive into the topic of when talking about it makes it worse.
And talking about what?
It. You don't know what it is?
What's it?
It is our problems.
Talking about our problems makes our problems bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that can happen in a coaching context when seeing the coach or therapist makes it worse, or when trying to talk about our challenges makes it worse.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to speak to any of you out there who have this experience where you're like, gosh, I try to bring things up with my partner and it just makes things worse. We just get into a bigger fight. We have more dissonance, more arguing, more disconnection. Or you go to coaching or therapy and you're like, gosh, we were fine walking in, but we left like a mess.
Yeah.
Things were so much worse. We're so much more upset. So maybe we shouldn't, you start to think, maybe we shouldn't go to coaching. Maybe we shouldn't go to therapy. Maybe we shouldn't talk about, maybe I should just, let it go, or not talk about, not bring that stuff up. You start to maybe create little pockets of things you don't talk about with your partner.
Yeah. And you might not want to see the coach or therapist anymore. And the next time you see a session on your calendar, you might be like, I don't want to go.
Totally.
Because the last time we went, or the last 5 times we went, it's just created a big drama cycle.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, first of all, we want to validate that. When you have a kind of a negative experience in a conversation that goes south, you're like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to be here. I don't like this. Gosh, it doesn't work. The therapy or talking about it or whatever doesn't work. And you start to make conclusions. And
it's not helping.
Yeah. And so that's very understandable. And it makes sense you would feel that way and kind of start to draw these conclusions.
Yeah.
Right? And we're here to offer a different possibility. That there's a number of things going on here why you're feeling this way.
Yeah. Yeah. So what have you... When you go ahead,
you go ahead. You were going to ask.
I had to lower my seat.
Okay.
I was like towering over you. I was going to ask what is happening. Like, what have you seen with couples? Where has this ever happened in your practice? Maybe that's what I'll ask.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah, over 20 years.
Okay.
All the time, meaning often enough to be doing a podcast about it.
Yes.
It's just a common thing with people who they don't love coaching or therapy. They're like, does it really help? They haven't had enough good experiences to be like, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. And it's that type of person, right? And it's also the type of person who can be conflict avoidant and doesn't know how to get to zero or get back to a good place and repair well. And naturally, they would be like, this doesn't help. Yeah. Talking about it makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. That's something we deal with as couples, coaches, and therapists is you often have someone in the room who would never come to coaching or therapy if it was just for themselves. That person that is like, I don't know if this really helps is usually there because their partner wants them to be there, or because they feel like they have like no other options. It's like, this is my last option before, I don't know, we do something drastic.
Yeah.
They really just don't believe in the process, right?
Yeah. They've never gone, or they have had
or they haven't had good experiences, which is valid because some people really don't have good experiences with coaching and therapy, and that's real.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about just for a minute that sometimes it could be a practitioner issue?
Yeah, I think
to name that.
Yeah, this is, I think, not often the case that it's a practitioner error, but sometimes you might be working with someone who's just maybe in over their head, who maybe hasn't had the training and experience necessary to help you with your relationship. Maybe maybe they just aren't qualified for one reason or another to actually really be helpful to you. They're out of their zone of expertise or experience in some way. And so that does happen. And that's what? That's
their own stuff, actually. It's not just that they're inexperienced. They're not getting supervision. They're winging it. They have their own stuff is getting triggered. Like we train couples coaches, and one of the things that they get stuck on, new coaches that are working with couples, is they feel like they're back in their childhood trying to referee a conversation between mom and dad.
Parents. Yeah, it's actually really difficult to work. It's difficult to work with one human being, and then it's really difficult to work with more than that. Let's just say.
Yeah, especially if there's a lot of activation. And charge and conflict.
Yeah, it requires really specific skills and training and understanding. I think it does. And you have to really be able to work with the stuff it activates in you as a practitioner. It can be really a lot to work with.
Yeah.
And so that can be a factor too, that, if the person you're seeing isn't getting adequate support, they might kind of get underwater in terms of being able to help you. So I'd say that's not the most typical reason, but I think that's a variable. It's a variable, can be a factor.
So we want to name that because it might be that you go try a different person and you have a really different experience.
True.
Stuff is still hard, but you're actually getting through it and you're making progress. Because that's what we're after here. Like with your conversations at home and with your coach and therapist, over time, things should improve.
Yeah.
That's kind of a fundamental goal, is there should be progress toward the positive.
Yeah. And you probably are going to have to do some things that are uncomfortable, new, difficult for you to get that result you're looking for. I think sometimes people come in this should just make things easier, somehow magically, but usually to grow and develop, to have your life move forward, you are going to have to stretch yourself in some ways. And so hopefully with the support of your coach or therapist, you're getting the support necessary to take those steps. But I like to throw that in there. Like some of what you're going to do to get what you want from your relationship is going to be maybe new or uncomfortable for you.
Yeah. Very confronting, potentially. So we'll circle back and talk about that at the end. But let's talk about why talking about it can make it worse.
Yes.
And why couples then don't want to come back.
Yeah. So occasionally it's a practitioner just not being supported well or in their, most experienced area. And then sometimes it's about the couple. Someone in the couple or the couple themselves really struggles to deal with things head on.
Yeah.
Right. You might be a person or in a partnership where it just feels easier. Some part of you believes it's easier to avoid or not talk about the things that are difficult because maybe you've had a lot of experience in life, not just in coaching or therapy, but other experiences in life where it just was better to deal with things inside. It was better to deal with things by yourself, and talking about whatever your feelings were or concerns were, or trying to field someone else's didn't resolve anything. Some people just have not had that experience of conflict leading to repair and resolution.
Which is so sad.
It's so sad.
And it's a lot of people's childhoods.
Yeah.
So you
childhood and adult relational experience.
Yeah. And so what ends up happening is you avoid and you avoid learning and avoid applying yourself. And then you compensate, which is what people do with injuries. Like I'm good at compensating when I have injuries in my body and not getting help for years. I did that. And it's really understandable. We just want things to be easy. I don't want to go deal with this. It's kind of hard and it's kind of uncomfortable.
It doesn't seem to be helping.
It doesn't seem to help. So I can, I can limp and I'm fine, actually. Oh, it turns out I don't need crutches, but I can just limp a little bit. And, my bad back is not, it doesn't always come out. I can sort of hunch over and lean to the left and I'm okay.
Yeah.
And this is what people do in their relationships. They lean to the left or lean to the right out of the hard conversations. And so begins a calcification and a pattern of good enough. You know what? We're kind of fine. It's not that big of a deal. And then all the kind of mental justifications around, well, we're getting along this week. Mostly.
Yeah. This week was pretty good.
You know
so
what?
I think we're good.
And hey, you know what? We had that massive blowout a couple weeks ago and things have sort of been forgotten about.
Yeah.
And if I bring it up, ooh,
I don't
that's
want
like taking a scab off
Yeah.
and like scratching that itch. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah. And people can kind of function that way.
Yeah.
But you can't grow and develop that way. Right?
No, it's a total compensation avoidance. So the injury between the two of you isn't going to get better.
Right.
It's just temporarily receded into the background.
Yeah. Yeah. And I see this sometimes with couples who come in and they're like, we're doing really good this week. We haven't had any fights and I think we're getting along pretty well. And yeah, so maybe there's no active conflict, but there's definitely not more connectivity necessarily. There's just a lack of active conflict, which feels relieving to both of them. And then, so we have a whole session in front of us. And so I start to ask questions. I'm like, oh, well, how did this go? And what have you guys done with this? And like, just going back to like what we've been working on. And sometimes within like 15 minutes, it's all unraveling. Their story of we're okay quickly, with a few questions, we see that they're not okay. That, like you said, there's that fight from a week ago, or there's that ongoing resentment about how someone gets angry and yells and the other person doesn't like that and that hasn't really changed, or, things start to come out that are still sitting there. But these people have a way of kind of being in denial about that when it's not active in the moment. They can, if it's not happening right now, it's sort of like it went away.
Yeah.
And they sort of delude themselves to think, well, everything must be better. But actually with a little exploration or just hanging out with some of my curiosity, it turns out that things haven't actually improved. They've just been sort of put on a shelf. Yeah. And the hope is that that's just going to sit on the shelf and never return to their relationship. But that's not how that works.
No. And then they come into, so they put it on the shelf. Yeah. And then they begrudgingly come into couples work. And the couples coach, if they're good, or a therapist, starts poking around and is like, okay, well, you guys say you're good, but how's that thing that we talked about last time? Oh, well, we didn't talk about it. Okay. And has it improved? Well, we haven't gotten any fights. Okay. Is that improvement? Or did you guys actually address the problem, really repair it, and now you're feeling like more connected as a result? No, we didn't do that. Okay. So what did you do?
Well, we were really busy and we haven't actually really seen each other. And I don't know. We seem to be getting along okay. Again, it starts to kind of...
So that you can hear the justification. Like, again, you got to be honest with yourselves that most of us can make anything okay if it's not painful, like high pain. Yeah. If it's kind of painful, we can be like, eh.
Some of us can tolerate a lot of pain.
A lot of pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you've stuffed pain your whole life, you probably have a high pain tolerance.
Right.
Right. And if you're conflict avoidant and you're fearful there, and you haven't had any good experiences of repairing successfully, you're going to probably avoid. So my job as your coach or guide is to address the injury and actually help you find new ways to heal the injury so that you can move better together in your life.
Have more capacity. Yeah. Be able to deal with more challenges should they come your way.
Because Ellen and I both know that if we address the injury, the resentments, the pain, the things that aren't being addressed around sex, money, or parenting, or where we're different, or, all these things, if we actually go in there and address it, we know through experience in our own marriage and with others that you will get better. You'll come out more secure. You'll come out stronger, wiser because you've learned some things. Oh my gosh, we got through that hard thing and it took us a few months, but wow, we got there.
Yeah.
And dang, we're actually stronger as a team as a result. Like, do you want that kind of team experience, or do you want the team experience that's like, hey, as long as we don't talk about this, we're fine.
We'll pretend we're fine.
We'll pretend we're fine. And this injury will just kind of sit here in the space like a pile of shit. And we'll just hope it doesn't smell and it doesn't stink up the boat that we were out in the ocean on. And we'll kind of be okay. Like, which team do you want to be on, right? It's
Totally.
kind of obvious.
I mean, I think so. I think it's obvious, but I think we would put these couples kind of, you know, we want them to kind of look at their avoidance strategies, right? This is a couple that has strategies of avoiding things that are hard, complex, and difficult between them, maybe even in themselves. They have strategies to kind of convince themselves that everything's okay when it's not. And a lot of that probably came from a childhood or family where that's how you had to get by.
Yeah.
You had to sort of be okay when things were okay and not make a fuss.
You
and
mean
then
be okay when things aren't okay?
Is that not what I said?
Yeah. You said things
Be okay when
they're
things
okay.
when things are not okay.
Yeah.
And just take the good while you could. And addressing things didn't make it better. Maybe the grown-ups didn't know how to talk about feelings or support you with yours or talk about relationships or any of that. And so you just didn't get the reps in and the experience of, wow, actually, when I connect with and am honest and transparent about my experience with the people I'm counting on and love most, that's received, that's honored, that's, you know, we have an attitude of like, we'll figure it out. You know, together we can figure this out. You know, if you don't have that lived experience from many reps of doing that kind of thing, you're going to probably end up in an adult relationship where you don't know how to do that or you don't trust that process.
Yeah.
So much of this is like having gone through your own, facing things that are hard, facing things about yourself or your own life that are difficult, and having gone through that process of, things get a little messy, it's a little uncomfortable, it's maybe a little emotional, but I'm better for it. I'm learning about myself. My relationships improve. Like, if you don't have that lived experience, of course you're going to avoid.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
It makes sense. And I will say, I have a lot of lived experience of this going well in this marriage, and I still can avoid.
Yeah, it's true.
I had something, a while back with you that I didn't bring because I was like, it could make things worse.
Yeah.
It could make you go away. And so I stuffed it inside. And of course, that made it worse.
Made it worse.
Way worse.
That's so true.
Later. So Ellen and I have tremendous capacity here and lived experience of, you know what, this works.
Yeah.
We get to the other side every time. It takes us longer than, sometimes it's months, sometimes it's days, sometimes it's hours, sometimes it's minutes. And we get there. And that feels amazing. And my human condition is I'm just up against that part of myself that wants to seek pleasure, avoid pain, avoid disconnection. I don't want to do anything that would have Ellen and I be in a bad place. Right. So I could, if I'm not careful, compensate also.
Yeah.
So we're not saying like we're on some mountaintop here.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. This happens to the best of us, and there's a human quality about it. But we're trying to normalize this and
kind of call it out.
Call it forward and be like, okay, we're kind of avoiding the hard thing. It's kind of like that feeling. Sometimes you just don't want to go to the gym or go on that run or do the exercise. It's on your schedule. You've committed to it. You're holding yourself accountable, but you still have resistance because sometimes, especially when you're starting exercise after having taken a long time off, it hurts. It's hard.
Yeah.
The first 2 weeks of running before you find your groove
is uncomfortable.
It feels like you're moving through fog and just thick, just blah,
Yeah.
And you're like, do I need a caffeinate? I got to rile myself up for this. So we have this part of us.
We do. I appreciate you bringing it up like that this is a normal way of coping as a human being, and, I think when it comes to, avoiding conflict or even avoiding intimacy, like I think about also that we might even avoid things that are good and nourishing for us.
Yeah.
Too. Because it's vulnerable. Sometimes, I can have a tape where I'm like, oh, I can't approach Jayson in this vulnerable state because I have a history of that not going well before you.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I have to talk myself through, you've never, done anything to make me think I can't come to you if I need you or something, so it's we kind of have to work with ourselves, most of us, and know ourselves a little bit I tend to avoid these hard conversations, or I tend to avoid these vulnerable, intimate moments if I'm not aware of myself, or I have a habit of this. And so we're all working with stuff. And what we don't want is a couple kind of colluding around this story that talking about it makes it worse. We instead want you to recognize, wow, talking about it seems to make it worse. But not talking about it doesn't make it better. So maybe we could learn how. Maybe that's what brought you to coaching. Maybe there's skills that need to get developed around communication, right? There's so many skills involved in communication, so many skills. It's not just about getting the words right. It is a much more multi-layered experience and process. So we want to encourage people to lean in to conflict, and so that you can get to repair. And a lot of us have to learn how to do this and spend time talking to our partners about why this is difficult for us, why we might not believe in the process, what we're afraid of. Exploring why does talking about whatever's true make things worse? That isn't how that should work.
And what if we just invite a reframe here and we add a word onto the end of this when talking about it makes it worse? Let's add the word temporarily, just as an experiment, and start playing with that. Hey, talking about it, I'm afraid talking about it is going to make it worse temporarily. And that gives you an aspirational kind of quality to, it's just going to be temporary discomfort. We're not going to stay in discomfort forever. It'll be temporary, and it's going to be temporary because we're going to commit and agree that we're going to find the tools and skills and the right help to get to the other side so that it is actually temporary.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that, because I think most of us can handle that.
Yeah.
Can handle temporary discomfort in the service of long-term resolution, repair, connection, because that is what people experience. Is if you can deal with some of the hard stuff efficiently and effectively, you get to enjoy the good stuff longer, more often, more deeply.
Yeah.
It's really cool how that works. By sort of, sectioning off the hard things, you also don't get to experience the depth of the good things.
That's right.
You're really limiting your capacity for intimacy, because conflict involves feeling, close, vulnerable, anxious. So does deep connection, and so you want to be able to have this range of experience with each other. Most of us want that.
Yeah.
We want to be able to have the deep good stuff too.
So one of the things you'll hear Ellen and I talk a lot about here on the podcast, we've mentioned it before, is we want to increase our capacity for discomfort, right? So going to the gym or going on that run, you have to increase your capacity to oh, this kind of hurts, and I'm okay. And we're doing this together, and we could tweak another thing about when talking about it makes it worse temporarily. We could say, when talking about it makes me uncomfortable temporarily, because worse is such a strong word.
Yeah.
And that's your perception because you're not willing to hang in there long enough to get to the other side.
Right.
And you're not willing to learn the appropriate tools and methodologies and techniques and strategies to get to the other side. Once you do start learning that, it's temporary. And yes, it's an uncomfortable path sometimes to get there.
Yeah.
I might get my feelings hurt. I might feel a lot of trigger and activation in my body, which I don't like being with. We might get the fight we were having just escalated. And so it's more uncomfortable and more intense to hold that charge and to have you look at me like that and to have you speak to me in this way. And like, this is all uncomfortable. And so can we just say, when talking about it makes me uncomfortable or makes us uncomfortable temporarily? And what do we need to do to ensure that it's temporary?
Ensure that it's temporary and that it's in the service of maybe the larger aspiration we have as a couple of how we want to feel and function together. Because that's important. It's important to have a sense of where do we want to go? How do we really want to feel? How do we really want to be together in this relationship? And there's going to be a path there's going to be some challenges to get there, right? Yeah. It's like, I want to be really fit and healthy. You're going to have to do some things that are uncomfortable to have that experience. You're going to have to get through those first few minutes of the workout that's hard and until you get into the like routine of it, and then you feel the benefits of it, and you got to do that 20 times before you really trust the process maybe. So this is true with conflict with people. We have a similar resistance to discomfort, and we have to have a reason for moving through it. The belief maybe, or a lived experience if we have it, that we're going to be better for having done that.
Yeah. It's sort of like if, a lot of you are parents and business owners, I guarantee you've been uncomfortable, but because you've been uncomfortable hearing your 1-year-old cry all night or whatever, you're not tapping out and saying, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to just leave my kid on someone's doorstep. You're in it for life. And so you're willing to, and you know that on some level, so you're willing to hang with discomfort to some degree, right? And building your business, you had some goals and here you are. And if you've had some success, I guarantee you have been so angry and so frustrated and hurt and resentful about team members or Facebook ads or the market. There's just endless amount of things to be so frustrated with when you're starting a business, and you hung in there and you were uncomfortable. So I know you can handle a relationship.
Yeah. And I think it's because of that bigger why. Like as a parent, you're like, no, I'm here for the long haul. It's my job to help my kid get through hard things. I believe in the process. You have some bigger reason that's meaningful to you. Same with business. Like, no, I have goals here. I need to figure this out because there's, high stakes, or because that's just, you're committed to the journey. And relationships too, like our partnerships are a huge part of our well-being. They're not something that we can just hope is going to get better, and it will. We actually have to apply ourselves and learn and grow along the way. And some people really come to partnership thinking that shouldn't be part of the deal.
Yeah. I love that you said hope, because you entrepreneurs would never hope your business grows. Yeah. No entrepreneur comes in and says, I hope it grows. They get in and they roll up their sleeves and they deal. Yeah. And you pull all-nighters, or you work late, or you get up early, or you fire someone, or you hire someone. You make some really hard decisions that are so painful because you are not in hope. Right. You're in action. And so again, you have this in you. It's just, you're dealing with a person now intimately. And it's of course different because your business isn't a nervous system necessarily. It's like this person you're looking at every day and living with. I get that. And we're trying to help you move from horizontal development, which is like, I'm going to put this over here on the shelf where I don't develop myself, to vertical development, where we actually do grow directionally to the next place. We get stronger, wiser, more connected, increase our capacity, and our relationship grows in depth and connection and just forward in a way that works for both of us.
Yeah. And that's really what happens when you're growing in a relationship, is that vertical development, which to me is like you're integrating new information into your life and putting it into action. I think of horizontal development as like, I'm getting information, I'm reading or I'm thinking, but I'm not really changing or doing anything different. I'm just sort of like broadening the amount of information I have access to or something like that. We really want people to take action, to take full responsibility and get help with what are the actions that would move us towards the vision we have for what we want.
Yeah. So as we wind down here, just a strong reminder that like anything in life, there's going to be some discomfort, and we encourage you to embrace that as part of the journey of partnership. You're just going to be triggered at times. There's going to be conflict for the rest of your relationship, off and on, for life. And that may happen frequently. It may happen just every so often, but it's going to happen. And so we might as well embrace that and then begin to develop the capacity and the tools to get to the other side so that it's temporary.
Yeah. And skills like self-awareness, self-reflection, ownership, validation,
communicating in such a way that my partner feels considered.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that goes into efficient and effective communication and repairing conflicts and getting to a shared good place about something that, you both feel strongly about.
Yeah. Okay. So next time you go to your coach or therapist, you're going to reframe the whole thing, right? Instead of like, I don't want to go because it makes it worse. You could say, I don't want to go because I don't want to be uncomfortable temporarily. And then you might go, well, am I actually more resilient than that? Yeah, I am. Okay, honey, let's go and let's deal. And if it gets hard, I still love you and I'm here for it. I'm not going anywhere. We got this. You could bring a little more optimism.
Yeah. Or even just willingness to learn. Just like, wow, there's stuff I have to learn here.
Yeah.
About us, about me, about you. And that's going to lead somewhere.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, honey.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, folks, subscribe wherever you listen to this. Make sure you share with a friend. And feel free to leave a comment on Spotify if you want. We'd love to hear from you.